All right. Let's get into this reading, y'all. So this reading is for the collective. And we're in between moon phases. Directly in between, pretty much. We just passed a new moon on the 8th, and we are heading towards a full moon in Sagittarius on the 23rd, I believe. And the new moon was, I want to say hold up, I know the answer to this. Was it Taurus season yet? Or are we coming up to Taurus? No, I think it was Taurus. So we had a new moon in Taurus, a very prosperous Venusian energy. Moving into this full moon in Sagittarius, a very expansive energy. And I really like the combination of those two things happening together, because I think that's what's making me feel like May is all about abundance, because the new moon was about planting the seed for prosperity and abundance, planting the seed for physical comfort, planting the seed for material gain. And then by the full moon, if you've planted that seed and you've been watering it, and you've been cultivating it, you've been removing the stones out of your garden that might be blocking growth. If you've been doing the work to make way for it, this new moon or this full moon coming up is like, boom, here's the moment where it all actually pops up out of the surface, where all of those seeds that were cultivating and percolating under the soil pop right out. I really feel like a lot of us are going to see huge advancements coming along, unexpected money, unexpected payouts, unexpected opportunities, or maybe expected, because you've been planting the seed for these things. You've been praying for these things. You've been manifesting these things. You've been lighting the candles. You've been doing the work. You've been cutting cords and cutting ties to people and habits and things that do not serve this vision, that are not in alignment with this vision. And so for a lot of you, it's going to be not unexpected at all. It's going to be like, yep, finally, this is what I've been asking for. And now here it is. It's a very abundant time. I feel like what I want to ask is, what can we as a collective focus on for the next week or so to make sure we're ready for all of the abundance and success that this full moon is bringing in? I like to check in with this idea from time to time. Like, what can I do to make sure that I'm ready for it? I've been asking for it. And I think I've done all the things. I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready. But Spirit, am I really ready? Are there bad habits? Are there connections? Are there things that I still need to address or adjust in order to truly be ready for what's about to happen? That's what I want to ask. Does that question seem fair to you guys? Shall we go to Spirit and ask, what can we as a collective do in order to be ready for the abundance coming in on the full moon? Does that feel like a fair question for y'all? Are you interested in receiving that answer? Let me know. Right? Listen, I be teaching the stuff you need to know. Magic, spirituality, and the best snacks. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, ancestors. Love it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I just want to double check because I'm curious about that, but I could always pull cards for myself. I want to ask, this is for the collective, so I want to know what you guys want to know. All right. We have a beautifully abundant full moon coming up with the full moon in Sagittarius, incredibly expansive, ruled by the planet Jupiter. It's not only a full moon in Sagittarius, which is ruled by the planet Jupiter, it's happening on a Thursday, which is also ruled by the planet Jupiter. So it's a double whammy of expansive energy. Okay, so whatever seeds we've been planting are, the energy is ripe for a huge burst in growth, and the ideas that you have that might be a little idea can be taken into something big. And what I like to do at times like this is I like to make sure there's nothing standing in the way of that. Okay, so I'm glad you guys want to know that too. Is there anything standing in the way? What can we call in to make sure that we are ready for this abundance? What can we focus on to make sure that we are ready to receive all of this prosperity, all of this expansion? For those of us who are planning to travel or move around that time, what can we do to prepare for that? As a collective spirit, we are transitioning from one place to the next. What can we do? Make sure we're ready for that. Taking a moment to call in our guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, demons, spirits, all of those powerful beings that walk with us and come to us and call, asking for them to deliver a message for the collective, to help us to prepare for this powerful full moon in Sagittarius. What do we need to do, Spirit? What do we need to prepare? Okay, while I was shuffling, I was told to pull 4 cards, one for each of the zodiac elements: earth, air, fire, and water. It's so crazy because it's perfect. Can y'all see this? I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't think so. Let me hold it up. Beautiful symmetry here. Let me see if I can get it all together. When I'm pulling cards, oftentimes it is just the way the cards look when they come out that tell me a lot about whether or not we're on the right path. So I don't know if you see that beautiful balance of the green on the outside to the blue on the middle. Something like this tells me right away that we are looking at messages that are going to be well received and understood. There's a beautiful symmetry. We're all experiencing the same full moon, but we're experiencing it a little differently. So starting off with the earth signs, we have the goddess of beauty. You are a wondrous being of light. There is nothing to change or fix. So earth signs is going to be really important for you as you prepare for the beauty, the abundance, the expansion of this full moon, to really understand the beauty that you possess and that you radiate. I feel like some of you have been working on physical transformations with all these butterflies here, a creature of transformation. And Spirit is saying the transformation is done. You're good. You don't need to fix anything. So if you're telling yourself, I need to work on this before I'm able to become famous, before I make that YouTube channel, I've got to, pluck my eyebrows. I got to put makeup on before I go do this. I got to lose weight before I do this. Spirit is saying, absolutely not. That's not the case at all, and your focus on that could be distracting you from receiving all of the opportunities that come your way. I feel like some of you might get opportunities in the next couple of weeks that you want to put off or even say no to because you're afraid that you don't look like, or that you don't compare or can't compete with others that are like you. Some of you might actually have very physical pursuits. You might be in pageants, weightlifters, you might be performance artists of some kind, dancers, singers, etc., where you have to put yourself in a public light and you feel like you're not quite there yet. And Spirit is saying to embrace the goddess of beauty. You are already absolutely everything you need to be in order to shine in these positions. There's nothing wrong with wanting to always be, improving oneself, but you need to understand that there is nothing that you need to change or fix about yourself in order to do what it is you are trying to do. I do feel like some of you are considering plastic surgery of some kind. They might be small, minor procedures like tattooing your eyebrows or getting Botox or little nip tucks, little things like that. And I don't judge you for that at all, and neither does Spirit. But the message here is just that that is not what is needed in order for you to embrace the next chapter of your life. It's not what's needed in order for you to do well with the opportunities that are coming your way. There is nothing to change or fix. Okay. So try not to see what you consider your flaws as flaws, or as like mistakes or problems. Okay. Okay, earth signs. You're good. You're beautiful. Embrace your beauty as you are. I also feel like some of you have some out of the ordinary character traits, like how I have a gap, I have a mole, and stuff like that. You might have something like that as well. Something that you might even consider like a dysformity or a deformity or something like that. That's probably what people are going to love about you the most. It does not need fixing. Okay. All right, earth signs. Your tattoo is a butterfly? Yes. I have butterflies too back here. I love that. I love that. That's, I tell people all the time that when they get a tarot reading with me, it's going to be very boring. And I think a tarot reading with any reader should be very boring, because your spirits, guides, guardians, they're not with me and they're not with my cards. They've already been trying to give you this message. It's just that they don't speak, language with a vocal cords and a mouth. So they speak in signs, symbols, and frequencies. And if you don't speak that language, it can be hard to know for sure that you're receiving a message versus just your own internal thoughts. And so that is what going to a reader helps to do, to decipher those messages and make clear what is coming to you versus what are your own thoughts. So your reading from a reputable reader should be nothing but confirmations and validations of the messages you've already been receiving. If something comes out of left field from a reader, you should stop them and say, wait a minute, that doesn't sound anything like what I have been feeling. Okay. Air signs. This painting is, or this picture is so similar to a painting I did when I was young. When I was in middle school, I was stepping into my bisexuality and went through this phase where all I painted were titties. Like all I painted were breasts. I wish I still had those. I think I might have thrown them away. But Yeah, that was all I painted were breasts of different kinds, like goddesses. I acted like I was goddesses and stuff, but it was just an excuse to like draw boobs. Anyway, this reminds me of a painting that I did. Air signs, your message is the goddess of earth, which does not surprise me because if there's one thing about my lovely air signs, it can be really hard for you guys to ground. Air signs are very cerebral. You're very in your head. You tend to think a lot and sometimes overthink. And your thoughts tend to kind of go with the breeze back and forth. Making up your mind, making decisions can be really difficult. So, grounding is super, super important for you guys. So, it's going to be really important that you ground over the next week or so that the ideas that come forward and the opportunities that come forward, you can feel really confident and make a choice as opposed to being in that state of like constantly trying to decide. The message behind this card is an idea connected to imagination, creativity, and nature is coming your way. So, if you have been trying to find inspiration, you've been trying to get an idea for your next project or what you're going to do next, or maybe you know there's something you want to do next, but you're just not sure exactly what, the key for you is going to be to ground yourself, get out of your head, and root yourself down into the vibration of the earth. You can do this quite literally by sitting up against a tree with your back up against it and letting the vibration of the tree pull you down into the earth. You can do this through meditation. You can do this through physical activity with your feet on the ground. I'm thinking yoga, barefoot activities. Going to the beach, putting your feet down in the sand, but spend more time actively grounding yourself, getting deep within your body and being settled and still. Try not to be in that place of trying to find the answer and find the inspiration, sending your thoughts all over the place, reaching out all over the place, trying to figure out the thing to do. Instead, come into yourself, center and ground, and be still. Connect with that beautiful hum of the earth and the ideas will come to you. They are on the way. This expansive full moon is bringing in the full moon is a spotlight. It's an enlightenment. The new moon is a dark period of the moon. It is when we see the least. As the moon grows into its full expression and reflects more and more of the sun's light, it begins to illuminate things for us. So if you feel like you can't quite figure out what your next thing is, or you're looking for that spark of inspiration, stop looking. You're looking in the dark, and that's just going to make it difficult to find anything. Sit still and let the moon move into that illumination. And when it gets there, then you open your eyes, and the idea will be right there. You will be able to see it with clarity. So try not to be too frustrated that it hasn't come to you just yet, and instead sit in stillness and wait for that illumination to occur so that what was once cloudy and unclear can be clear. Okay? Earth signs, grounding is what we need to do until the full moon. Okay? Yes, 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 yes. Loving when it resonates. Yes, you came at just the right time. Welcome, Aria. Thank you, Mother Earth, right? Thank you. Um, Someone was asking about Wicca earlier and like working with the Goetia and stuff. And really, the two spirits that Wicca centers around the most is Mother Earth and Father Sky. The idea that the natural world is divinity. And so all of the goddesses can be connected to through a connection with Mother Earth. The earth is feminine. She is a fertile womb, and all realities come through the womb. So anything that you would like to create, by connecting with her, you access that warm, wet, dark space where all things are birthed from. So all of us really would do well to be connected with the earth, but particularly for you, air signs, right now, for the next week or so, get out into nature and connect, ground, and stop looking for the idea. Let the moon reach its full illumination and it will be there. And then, oh my gosh, report back. Okay, on the 24th, come back to this live, pop in the comments, and let me know what was revealed. Okay, because I be nosy. I make all my clients come back to me with reports. Don't just leave me hanging. Fire signs. Fire signs, you're the only signs of the four that is pulling a god as opposed to a goddess. So we're already looking at a more masculine energy. Your message is the god of reflections. The god of reflections. It says the qualities you see in others are simply your own reflection. Ooh, okay. Hold up, I'm just trying to there's like several things happening like this, so I'm trying to catch them all. For some of you, fire signs, this is about collaboration. Over the next week or so, reach out and connect with people who are like-minded and like you. This might be super advantageous for you from a professional perspective. There might be some really lucrative opportunities out there for you that you have not, that the only reason why they haven't come to you is just because you haven't reached out. That's it. There are people who would love to work with you, but just don't necessarily know that you're there. So you are looking for people that are in similar industries or that are like you in some way. Reach out to them. Now would be the time to reach out. People who mirror your values or your lifestyle. There might be job opportunities here. Okay. Um, yeah, look for like-minded folks and reach out to them. When you are at work, when you are in social settings, when you are online and you're like, oh my God, that person's just like me, reach out to that person, build a relationship with them. There could be some opportunities in there. Another message that is coming through is about internal reflection. For some of you, this is really more of a message about healing. Some of you are being really triggered by certain people or groups of people that for some reason are irritating you and getting under your skin. It's important to understand that when we are triggered, it is because we are seeing something that in ourselves upsets us. A lot of times we think we're mad or annoyed by other people or groups of people, but the reality is there's something inside of us that we want to suppress, avoid, or deny is there. And we turn that distaste onto other people. But you would be better served looking within to see why it is those things really bother you and what it is about yourself that reacts so strongly to those things, because you can't control other people. You can, however, make changes in yourself. And if you know that you are not like somebody or you are not like something, then you don't feel a certain kind of way when you see them be themselves. It's like, oh, I'm not like that, but okay. But when there's a part of you that suspects that you might be like that, you get angry or really irritated. We're only triggered by things that we fear we exhibit. Okay, so that anger or annoyance or frustration that you feel at that person in your life or those people that you interact with, check yourself a little bit over the next week, because those very character traits within yourself might stand in the way of you really expanding beyond where you are right now. Okay. And for some of you fire signs, this is a reminder about vanity. This has nothing to do with other people. For some of you, vanity. For some of you, fire signs, there is I'm thinking about that Greek, I think it's Greek mythology or something that we learned in school, where the person was like staring into the river and seeing their reflection, um, and being so caught up in their own vanity that it was a problem. This is almost the opposite of the earth sign message, where you might be so kind of like stuck on yourself and so full of yourself that you might not see what's happening around you. So just be mindful, fire signs. Loving yourself is so wonderful. Loving yourself is so beautiful. Being pleased with yourself is absolutely fantastic. But there is a line where we can go so far in the direction of thinking everything about us is so great that we don't take advantage of opportunities to improve or to grow. And most importantly, when we do that, we often miss opportunities to learn. So some of you might be in positions where a mentor, a coach, a guide, a teacher would be good, but you have convinced yourself that you can do it by yourself because like you are just the shit. And spirit is inviting you to check that, because you might get the opportunity to learn, grow, and expand as a result of admitting to yourself that you don't know everything, that you are great, but that it does not take away from your greatness to admit that you need some guidance, basically. I feel like some of you are getting the opportunity to be taught, and you're shying away from that because you feel like, well, I can figure it out on my own. And I have definitely been there, and I'm a fire sign. When I decided to get a business coach, a business credit coach, digital marketing coaches, when I started admitting that I am great, but that everybody needs a teacher, um, so many things changed for me. And I'm so, so grateful that I have invested the money, the time, that I've humbled myself and have allowed others to teach me what they know, because now I'm just smarter. I'm all I am is smarter and even more great than I was. So, as great as you are, we can all grow and benefit and learn from others. So don't miss out on the opportunity to get better because you are so consumed with how great you are. Okay, so that's 3 different messages. So pick which one of those resonates for you, fire sign. But it was a bunch coming through all at once. So try to get all of those messages in. You're welcome. Oh, really? Oh, thank you. Well, I was going through a time. I was going through a time. I was like, what does this mean? I remember, shout out to Zenobia. I don't remember her last name, but wherever you are in the world, Zenobia. Zenobia was this girl in my church. I was like 13 and she came to my church. And everybody was like, who's this new girl, this new family in the church? And all of the girls in our choir hated on her because she was probably like 16, 17, and she was gorgeous. She was like 5'9", long braids or locks. I can't remember. I think it was locks. Fucking beautiful. And of course, all the other chicks was just hating on her. And I was so in love. She was alternative. She was different. So they just hated on her. And she was a little bit weird. And she would fight. She had an attitude. People would say she had an attitude problem. She had an attitude. And so she just immediately clashed with all the girls in the choir. And I fell in love. I was like, who is this divine, interesting being? And we became friends, fast friends. And I remember going to Zenobia one day and being like in tears. And she's like, what's wrong? And I was like, I think I'm a lesbian and I'm going to go to hell. And she was like, what, walk me through it. Well, why do you think this? And I was like, because I like this girl in my middle school named Natalie. I'm in love with her and I love titties and I'm a lesbian now. And she was like, but don't you like Lionel? Or don't you like, who did I like at the time? Some little boy in the church. But don't you like Eddie Lopez? But don't you like Eddie? And I was like, I do. And she's like, well, do you think Eddie's cute? I'm like, I think he's mad cute. And she's like, okay, well, then you're not a lesbian, you're bisexual. And I lived in such a strict conservative household that never talked about these topics and went to a Christian middle school that never talked about these topics. So I know this is going to sound crazy, y'all. I legitimately did not know at the age of 13 that there was such a thing as a bisexual. I knew that there were gay people and that the girl version was lesbians and they were all going to hell. That's what I knew. And I was freaking out. And she was like, well, you're bisexual. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah, you can like both. And if you are, then you're not lesbian. You're not straight. You're in the middle. You're bisexual. And I was like, get out of town. And I was like, am I still going to hell though? And she was like, meh. I was like, okay, that's fine. I'll figure the rest of it out. But it was good to like learn that or what have you. Anyway, shout out to Zenobia. That girl saved my life because I make fun and it's like light now, but like this was literally like a really deeply disturbing, upsetting, confusing thing for me at that time in my life. And she helped me understand that I was not a lesbian. And I appreciate her for that. Okay. Water. Water. You have the goddess of oneness. Someone you love is thinking fondly of you at this moment. And what's coming through with this is a feeling of separation. Water signs, I feel like you are deeply, deeply missing someone or someone's in your life. You feel very disconnected from either an individual or a group, maybe even like your family or a friend group. And because you feel disconnected and because you feel lonely, I think you're really struggling to feel supported and whole. You're struggling to feel supported and struggling to feel whole. You feel disconnected and like you're not your complete self because you're missing like a part of you. And it's important to know that whatever part of you it is that you feel is missing is thinking about you too. And they want to reconnect with you. So for you over this next week, as we get ready for this full moon, I think it would be important for you to try to reconnect with those people, places, spaces that you have kind of fallen out of oneness with. Don't be afraid. Okay. They also would like to reconnect with you. and are probably just as afraid, just as hesitant as you are, just as uncertain about how you feel about them. So somebody's got to make the first move, and it may just need to be you. All right. So reach out, because they're open to reconnect, and would love that. And what happens after you reconnect, I think things are going to speed up and really expand. This Jupiterian expansive energy is like making me feel like this could be so much bigger. It could be something so much bigger. So there's a lot of energy to really make it into something really huge. So don't be afraid to reconnect, because all of those visions that you have of like, oh, what it could be really truly is what it could be. So don't let being stubborn, don't let being wanting to be right, don't let wanting the other person or group to come to you, don't let your self-righteousness of wanting them to like admit that they're wrong or apologize or whatever, don't let any of that stuff get in the way of what could be a really powerful union. Reconnect. Okay, reconnect. Um, and you don't have to lower yourself. You don't have to like take responsibility for things that you don't genuinely feel like are your fault. You don't have to pretend anything. You are loved and missed enough by this other party or this other group that you don't have to come back like bowing your heads like, oh, I'm so sorry, come take me back. No, I think you can walk in and say, listen, I still stand 10 toes down on how I feel. But the truth of the matter is, I don't feel complete without you. I don't feel right without you. I want to be a part of this group. I want to be a part of this relationship. I want to be a part of this partnership. I want us to try to work it out. And the energy is right for that openness and honesty to really play in your favor and create exactly the type of environment that that you have envisioned all along. Okay. So reconnect over this next week or so to the people, the groups, the situations that really feel like they complete you. Okay, because they want you to be a part of whatever it is, as well. Yes, the I'll leave this up on YouTube. The replay will be available. Thank you. That was just this was water. So we're just wrapping it up for the water signs. All right, y'all. Those are the messages for earth, air, fire, and water. Take a moment to thank and honor our guides, guardians, angels, demons, ancestor spirits, all of those powerful vibrations that walk with us and come to us when called. Thank you for reiterating these messages for each of the elemental signs so that we can prepare for this abundant, bountiful, expansive, juicy full moon in Sagittarius coming up next week. Thank you. May each and every person who receives this message go off into this evening with lots of love and light. As I will, so mote it be. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for being the first reading with this deck, for helping me to get to know it. I like it. I think this deck is gonna be sticking around for those ancestral readings that I give. So keep an eye out for that. If you ever want to get a private reading with me, there should be a link in the description of this video for accessing my readings and services. I already talked to y'all at the beginning. Well, I don't do readings for none of y'all about your dusty boyfriends. So don't come to me with that. I'm just not interested. But for anything else, there are 4 styles of reading available. General reading, so we can talk about anything except for the dusties. 6-month projections, where we can look at what you can expect to happen in the next 6 months for a certain area of your life. Spirit guide readings, where I help channel a particular spirit guide so that you can get to know them. I feel like every witch should be able to identify at least one ancestor and one spirit guide that they can call on and know when they are receiving a message from them. And a spiritual gift life path reading, which is where we will calculate your life path number and pull cards to determine what your spiritual gifts are and what you're supposed to be doing with them in this lifetime. And maybe coming soon, a 5th style of reading, this ancestral channeling reading. But we'll see about that. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate y'all. Yay. I'm happy you found me too. Thanks for hanging out. I know who all the late night owls are. It's 4 in the morning, y'all. All right. I'm going to get out of here. Try not to have any more Teddy Graham cereal. I flossed tonight. Very proud. Yes. I know you can't believe it because I have like 10 teeth in my mouth and they're all like 6 inches apart, but I floss regularly. And because I flossed and brushed my teeth before I got in bed, I feel like I'm not going to have a late night snack just because I don't feel like doing all that all over again. So I'm going to be good tonight. Drink some more water, mind my business, and go to bed. That's what I think I'm going to do. All right. Thank y'all for hanging out. It has been fantastic. I appreciate you. If you want to take part in my monthly high tea lives, which are very similar to this, then definitely join the coven so you don't miss out. This month we are talking about dark spirits, the spirits of the death, the spirits of crossroads, the dark divine feminine energies. And we will have a special guest, my homegirl Tasha Crawford from the UK, who is a devotee of Lilith, will be talking to us and answering our questions about how to connect with those spirits. And we do that every month around the full moon. So the coven is a really cool place. We have a book club. We meet every month. This month we're reading American Brujeria, learning about Mexican American magic. We have a support group for witches of color. We have monthly metaphysical talks led by Shop Witch Alexis, who is an energy healer, astrologer, expert. So we have a lot of cool things going on in the coven. So I hope to see some of y'all in there and see some of y'all at my next high tea. It's breakfast, right? I know. I might as well go and make me some eggs or something. How do you join the coven? There should be a link in the description of this video. But you can also go to BronxWitch.com, my website, and click on the menu and go to the online portal. The online portal is where you will find all of our virtual classes. We have over 30 virtual classes on herbalism, crystal healing, candle magic, meditation, taught by me and a bunch of other very experienced witches like Madame Pamita, Melissa Madara, Maria Menes, a whole bunch of the shop witches, spiritual bath class, bunch of great stuff in there. But in addition to our classes, which are available individually, we have a monthly membership space called the Coven Community. And that's where you'll find all of the exclusive lives and the discussion feed and about 119 other witches to connect with. It's a great space. So link in bio for all the stuffs, or link in the description for all the stuffs. All right, y'all. I'm glad I did this. I almost didn't come live. I was going to come live last night, but then I got caught up talking to my sister and we were gossiping on the phone. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to go to bed now. But, yeah. All right, y'all. It's been fun as always. Blessed be. See y'all next time. Bye.